And welcome to episode 15 of Two Idiots Reading Comics. Today we're going to be reading Superman Red Sun. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Two Idiots RC. That's where we make announcements. You know the deal. Hopefully you'll actually follow. If you're listening on podcast, go follow our YouTube, Two Idiots Reading Comics. If you're watching on YouTube, go follow our podcast on Two Idiots Reading Comics. Anywhere you listen to podcasts except Pandora, because they won't answer my emails. And we're starting to put more content on YouTube that is not on podcast. So if you haven't subscribed there, go do that, because I do a weekly show. Davis at some point will do something with his Star Wars novels. And yeah, let's start the show. And welcome to episode 15. Davis, is your mic on?
Yeah, it's on this time, man. For fuck's sake.
We're having to redo this one, and we're both very hungry.
Hungry, hungover, all the fun stuff.
You were hitting that whiskey pretty hard last night. But yeah, so this time Davis didn't turn his mic on. We do have the camera on this time.
Yeah, the camera.
I swear to God, if we don't, you're just going to look at a logo for 30 minutes like you did last time.
In doing so, I'm going to hop up real quick and just make sure.
Okay.
So tell me, keep talking.
But yeah. So we thought we'd become professionals in our short 2 to 3 month stint of having a podcast.
In 15 episodes, we became professionals.
Huh?
15 episodes.
Yeah.
We are professionals.
But
wink, wink.
We tend to forget to turn the mic on. Although twice in 15 episodes, I guess, isn't
hard.
It's not good, but
It's
still
not good,
but still not great.
it's not
We
bad.
don't have a producer though. That's the whole job of a producer.
What's that?
We don't have one.
15% fail rate.
I don't know. I'm not doing math because we're hungry. But yeah. We also tried to, in addition to not doing it technically correctly, it just really wasn't that great of an episode.
It was. We were grasping for straws there at the end.
We ran through that shit so quick.
Yeah, we start grasping. Hopefully this one we
And
can
Davis
kinda go
does
a little
that thing
smoother.
where he gets nervous and doesn't stop talking.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be honed back in, reined back in.
But yeah, so how are you doing this week?
We're doing good, man.
Yeah,
Hungry again.
yeah.
It's kind of a never-ending cycle.
We're about to go get pizza, my favorite food.
Um,
But we should probably stop talking about that.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get some credits out the way. Superman Red Sun, written by Mark Millar, one of the show's favorites. A lot of people did art. They kind of swapped it up
Yeah.
issue to issue. Art, I have Dave Johnson, Andrew Robinson, Killian Plunkett, which I didn't address this last time. What a name is Killian Plunkett.
Plunkett.
You have a nice artsy pritzy name, super posh and Killian. And you have Plunkett, who was like, Jim Plunkett won a Super Bowl for the Raiders, so you just think badass.
Yeah, the Plunkett, I always remember he used in Wedding Ringer, the main guy's having to have his people, and he uses Plunkett as one of his fake people.
Yeah. And then we got Walden Wong. Then you got color, Paul Mounts. Yep, that's how people read. Letters, Ken Lopez. And then Dave Johnson also did the original covers.
Yeah.
So, what were your initial thoughts, Davis?
So kind of, I thought, like we've talked about outside of the podcast, I thought this was going to be a world builder. Like an expansion is going to be beyond this, spin-offs, cameos, all this fun stuff. But it's a contained, what it seems to be is very contained with some ideas of if they want something, if they want to do something, they can just go here, pull something out. All right, it fits within this mold.
Mm-hmm.
And also didn't realize that this damn comic's this old. 2003.
Yeah, 2003.
Yeah. And then the movie just came out in February of 2020.
Yes, the animated movie.
Yeah, the animated.
They need to put on HBO Max because DC Universe is dead.
It's dead. And Warner Brothers owns all of HBO Max, so why not just feed it together?
Yeah.
So, really cool idea. The premise here is that Superman, instead of landing in Kansas,
lands in Ukraine.
It lands in the Ukraine, raised by Ukrainian farmers in communist Russia in the 50s. During the Cold or early no. He's grown by the time
Very
the Cold
early
War
Cold-
happened. So
yeah. He lands in like the 30s,
yeah.
but then
There you
comes
go.
out as
There you
Superman
go.
during like the 50s while Stalin's in power.
So really cool premise of now you have a communist Superman.
Yeah.
That really what I thought was pretty cool about this one was very much conforms to the communist idea.
Oh yeah.
And what we hit on last time of talking about this was like, when he landed in the United States, he's free. The free will of the United States. He's not the government. He doesn't want to be in the government. He doesn't want to be controlled by the government.
Yeah.
Where Russia, he wants to please the government. He wants to please Stalin.
Yeah.
And
at first he's like, I don't want anything to do with ruling or whatever. Yeah. I'm just here to save people. But then I guess he talks to his like hometown friend, and she's like in a food line.
Yeah.
And they said they're out of food, and he's like, no one should live this way. I will take power, and I will make things better. And during like different sections, like your Superman is narrating the whole book.
Yeah.
And it struck me one time.
Like far off future.
Yeah, like right at the beginning of the 3rd issue, he was like, everyone has a job, everyone has a hobby, and everyone is happy. And I was like, how can you just say that?
Yeah.
Like without checking with every single person.
Yeah. But yeah, did you also catch that girl also became like she became the tour guide?
Yeah.
And then she's also sitting at the high table. Mm-hmm. She's sitting on
because
all
she knows who he really is.
Yeah.
Also, Superman had a crush on her.
But what does it matter that he's the leader of the fucking communist movement?
Yeah.
Why was he protecting his identity? Because they never like in normal Superman, you get his family, you get his girlfriend, Lois Lane, all that stuff. But in this, he's just Superman. They don't show his family. They don't, other than just talking about they're from the Ukraine. I didn't see why the whole secret identity was such a big big deal in this one. That was odd.
Now that you bring that up, that is kind of a weird panel.
But I did like that they kind of shot a nod at who his mother should Martha.
Mm-hmm.
She's putting lead-lined wallpaper up in her house. In the scene after they announced that
in the very first issue where the Americans are freaking out because Russia has this new superpower
that cannot be killed, stopped, or wounded.
Yeah, and so somehow America found out that he can see through lead because they were all worried that Superman was going to watch us while we're on the toilet. It's kind of like the same people when the Patriot Act and all that happened. And it was like, and with all these smart TVs, everybody's like, I don't want things that can watch me and listen to me in my own house. Which at first I was like, I don't want that either. But then I'm like, what the fuck are they gonna watch me just sit on the couch for 2 hours?
Like, what are they gonna listen to me say that I'm fat and ugly and eat too damn much?
Your wife yell at you?
There's no grandeur ideas of anything sinister. So
no,
I mean, but.
And now we're actually putting our life on the internet.
Now we're actually willingly doing it.
Yeah.
Besides the point, but I thought that was a pretty cool little nod.
That was pretty funny.
Giving her just showing her.
Oh yeah. Showing Mom and Paul Kent react to Superman.
Lois Lane's married to Lex.
Yeah.
So
Lex is still an asshole.
Oh yeah, Lex is still an asshole. But a villain genius, but not a villain genius, depending on whose eyes you look through.
Yeah.
Wherein like normal Superman, Lex is a villain to everybody.
He just wants to take down Superman and prove that he's superior, which is still technically
right. He still does
what he does in this, but now he's got the American flag behind him.
But instead of going after the alien in infiltrating the world, he's going after Russia, the communist, infiltrating the United States.
Which was kind of weird when I was like, I don't blame him.
Yeah,
Russia's a superpower. We got to stay on top.
But good Lord, the amount of money that he took.
I mean, he
literally phone call, like a brain. Yeah. He just like phone call. I need $10 million now.
Destroyed a country.
Yeah. But anytime he needed money, he just literally hey, President, I need $10 million.
Yeah. And we call them by their first name with very little respect.
That was wild. The whole idea of Lois, Mary, and Lex. I just for an Elseworld story, just needed another weird thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wondered.
But they do have that moment at the beginning where
he saved Sputnik. Or Sputnik was coming to Earth.
Yeah.
Because Lex
and he saved Lois, and he says, in the far future they would write stories where we would have where we would
she would have left Lex. The two of them would have gotten together, like in normal Superman stories.
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see Bizarro, their version of Bizarro.
I actually like this version of Bizarro a lot more.
He just looked like a malfunctioned clone instead of where the normal Bizarro. Yeah, it looks like the villain that looks like a tomb, like a zombie. He usually in the Injustice games he rips a tomb, like a headstone, out of the ground and beats people with it.
I know who you're talking about. Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy. He looks like he looks like Solomon Grundy, but
Christmas on a Tuesday. You know how it goes.
Yeah, he looks like Solomon Grundy, but wearing the Superman.
Even more brain dead.
Yeah. He kind of gets old.
Bizarro, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but Lobo never gotten the appeal of either of those. Yeah, Lobo.
Which one's Lobo?
He's like a bounty hunter in the DC universe.
Is he the one that rides on the motorcyclist?
Space motorcycle. He's gray, red eyes, black hair.
Yeah, kind of. I guess DC's Ghost Rider. Without the.
I would say it was more of their attempt at a Deadpool. I don't know which one came first technically.
Yeah,
but
that one's
their
a little
comedic asshole type thing.
That one's a little rough.
But the first thing I ever saw of Lobo was the Justice League animated series. He was just a straight up asshole in that, and I was just like, I don't understand why this guy is around.
Yeah, like what is he adding to anything?
No.
But
I always saw him in the Jar Jar Binks light. So.
Yeah. But so we get introduced to Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Because her mom's pretty much pimping her out.
Yeah.
To whichever world
nation needs her.
Yeah. That was a little interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, she doesn't choose.
No.
She ends up siding with Russia and Soviet. Damn you, motherfucker. And so
for those that are listening to the podcast, I just yawned and made Davis yawn.
So she ends up being with Superman, or teaming with Superman. They go off, save a bunch of people, worlds, lives, stuff like that. And then what's wild is like she breaks the lasso of truth.
Yes, when this version of Batman, who was a kid who watched his parents die, just like every other thing,
and how,
but by like the KGB
the
leader,
captain, and
shot
again,
his mom.
How long did it take you to figure out that was going to be Batman?
Instantly.
Yeah. The literal second that the trigger was pulled and the kid was left alive, I was like, oh, that's Batman.
When he was literally sitting over them watching them die, I was like, oh, there's going to be Batman. That's going to be cool whenever that happens.
That was, I know this is a Superman story, but that was a little, you get a lot of Wonder Woman in this, which, I mean, Wonder Woman and Superman go hand in hand, but most times.
Yeah.
But I could have had a lot more Batman. I know
you wanted more Batman?
Yeah, I know this is a Superman's story. It needs to focus on Superman, but I could have had.
You wanted to see more of the build up of what he was doing
because he's orphaned. The guy kicks him out of the house. He runs away. They say the story of, he either jumped off a bridge, ran to the sewers, looking for vengeance.
Yeah,
and then the next thing you know is he's a dude in a bar, and he's Batman.
Yeah,
like that was it. It was there was just there. Yeah. There was no lead up to it. I could have had a little bit of that. I would have enjoyed that. But then again, that was also this whole.
I guess one of our major complaints that we talked about when we tried to do this the first time was we thought this was going to be more of a tighter story, and this was one big story told over years and years, and so it was kind of history. Like, here's the information you need. There was a lot of pages like that.
And I guess like when you're first reading it, you go, all right, what else? Yeah. And then at the end you go, oh, that's it.
You get
like
that
that
last,
is, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you're saying about years between each issue, between issue 1 and 2, it says 2 decades have passed.
Yeah.
Between 2 and 3, I think it's another decade or 2.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff builds and builds and builds
Mhm.
over that time. But what was the Brainiac? It's about the other biggest.
Yeah, they like take these pauses throughout like all these years to show like I guess the important beats, but
whatever the fuck Lex Luthor's
Lex
creating to
Luthor
stop
finally
him.
got Brainiac over there, and Superman stops Brainiac. He thinks and stuff like that. But I guess we can stop beating around the bush and go straight to the issue 3 of where this is one giant ass big time leap.
Well, I just wanted to add Brainiac because he does play that key role here at the end.
But yeah, so basically, lost my train of thought.
Brainiac,
towards
the end game.
It gets to this big thing where the only country left standing is America, and Lex became president and like built it or brought it back from like the brink of collapse.
Literally had a civil war. It got so bad.
Yeah, but Superman's whole thing was, I'm taking over the world, yes, but I'm not. There's no bloodshed. I'm not aggressing on anyone. Countries are collapsing, but while mine is thriving, and I'm allowing them to join us.
Here's my ideas.
And
Here's
so
what I did to fix my world, my country. Here's
and I'm holding out for America, although Lex just brought it back. And so Brainiac takes that, who Superman thought he had reprogrammed, and made him an assistant because he's so smart. Brainiac keeps like, no, they're the only thing in your way from global domination. You need to do this. And Superman's just kind of resisting. And then that's when you get Green Lantern, who was the Roswell crash landing. Lex had cracked the secret to the Green Lantern and created his own Air Force of the Green Lantern Corps.
With Hal Jordan. You still get Hal Jordan.
Who was a wild backstory of a prisoner of war. It was kind of fucked up.
The willpower of that he survived the tortures
for years.
Building his own prison in his mind. That got wild.
Then Wonder Woman turns on him because after she broke the lasso of truth in her fight with their fight with Batman, kind of fucked her up, and now she's no longer she's Wonder Woman, but
like a decrepit
she's
version.
aged and all this other stuff. And so she turns against Superman, and then Brainiac is just like, okay, well now they're aggressing with us, we have to do something. And Superman is like, okay, we'll do it. And then Brainiac tries to turn on Superman. Lex turns Brainiac's ship into this giant bomb that Superman has to take galaxies away, and he thinks will blow up Superman in the process, and that's where Lex thinks he's won, and technically kind of did.
All right, go into that.
Mm-hmm.
So, at one point, it almost seems like Lex and Superman were in on the idea that Brainiac was about to deceive them. I know they weren't, but it just like there's a blip of a second where where Lex and Superman talk to each other of, hey, there's about something to be bad happen.
Lex plays it out because he even says after everything he was like, finally I've won, and everything's just seemed to work out almost as if I planned it.
Okay, so it was literally just him throwing darts at the board and hoping to God they hit the bullseye.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was almost kind of like a Doctor Strange in-game type of thing.
Yeah, it's like I can't.
This is how I have to win, and I hope it works.
Yeah,
type of deal.
But yeah, the whole idea of like kind of like when Lex gets in the Brainiac's ship, he's like, ooh, I have an opportunity.
Yeah.
And then he disassembles it and all. Okay. That's because it seemed very quick and choppy and everything kind of hit the boards.
It's kind of like almost someone told Mark, he's like, hey, we got to bring this home.
Yeah, buddy. You've been rambling for 2.5 issues now.
Yeah. But, so then Superman technically doesn't die. He comes back, but he's Clark Kent, and he's like, I'm going to give the humans a chance. And Lex then peacefully takes over the world. They vote him into office, and because he's a genius, basically builds a utopia.
Well, he saved the United States from while he was president. He brought them back from brink of destruction.
Took away communism,
yep.
supposedly, but one leader, I don't know. That was kind of gray, but that's a political thing.
Oh, I missed that.
He was the president of the world, which I guess technically.
which is technically communism.
I don't know.
Whatever. There's a lot of gray areas there.
Unless he just kept getting voted every time. But then, like, he made all these gigantic science improvements. Like, he expanded life expectancy to, like, 800 years.
Well, yeah. There was a little. There was a cool thing. It was like, he got it to 80 years.
Yeah.
Then he got it to 112.
Yeah.
Then he got it to 150. Then it's like, once he hit that 150, he's like, oh, I can go better. And like the next is like 6, then 8. I'm like, dude, there's no way.
He finally died at like 850 something years.
There's no way I'd want to be around for 800 years.
But then they go through all the descendants of Lex Luthor, and suddenly the names start getting shorter and shorter. And then you get to the 50th power grandson is Jor-El, which in the main continuity is Superman's dad. And I guess all these years after Lex Luthor, the world's starting to go to shit, and the world's not going.
Yeah, the world's thriving. It's the sun.
The sun turns into a red sun.
Yeah, it's aging,
and it's about to explode. And Jor-El's like, just like in the normal Superman, is like, hey, shit's about to go down. Y'all need to listen to me.
The council refutes it, doesn't care.
And so instead of in the main continuity where they say we have to send him away, they say we have to send our baby back.
Yeah.
And the wife's like, well, it's a yellow sun. He'll be different. He's like, yes, but he'll be stronger, faster, and all that stuff. Yeah. And so they send him back, and you find out that the Superman that took over the world was the baby that just got sent.
So he's the 52nd to the power grandson of Lex Luthor.
Yeah, and it's just this one big time loop.
What we talked about in the last time when we messed up, I thought, because in the beginning that the president at the time, J. Edgar Hoover, makes a big point to say, like, it's early, it's a very quick, and it's a big point. If he landed 12 hours early, he'd be in the United States.
Yeah.
When they were doing the whole Kal-El thing, I thought they were going to send him to, it was going to be 12 hours back, and it was going to be normal Superman.
But he landed in the Ukraine again. Yeah. And that's because that's what you had to pay attention to Jor-El's.
Right. If we're going to send
him back, not send him away.
Yeah. And again, the whole time paradox thing, if he didn't send him back, then caused
now it's like
him
a chicken and the egg type deal.
Yeah, how if he got sent to the United States, how could he create the problems that then would have led to him being the grandson of Lex? And
I don't know.
A lot of
I don't need to play, or I'm hungry and tired, and I don't need to play with time.
But either way, I did like that they did self-contain it in that big time loop of this is it, this is the world. And if
once
we
they
ever
finally
want
explained it all, the story got a lot better. But for like 2.5 issues, I was sitting here like, man, when are we going to do something?
Well, that's why when Batman showed up, I was like, all right, here we go.
But no, it's just another pause in time.
And then he dies within 4 pages of showing up. I'm like, oh, well, that was fun.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, you have any final thoughts?
Really cool story. I really like the progression of the time in it.
Mm-hmm.
You get kind of, and the way the artwork worked. It went from 20s, like the 30s, 40s artwork style to the 80s, then
which
to
I
the
guess
early
could be
90s.
why they had so many artists.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Instead of having one guy draw different styles.
That was really cool. I like the progression of the artwork as the time went forward. Color's great. Changing Superman's get up every couple years.
Yeah.
But really cool. Like what they did with Hal Jordan with the made him look like an old 80s pilot, the thick wardrobe. But other than that, great read. Definitely want to read it again. It's up there on the list.
Yeah.
What about you?
It was pretty good. Elseworld stories are always hit or miss, but when they hit, like this one did, obviously people still talk about this all the time.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, this is 17 years old and it just got its movie. So,
but yeah, it's always fun when you can just kind of fuck with continuity.
Yeah, and that's what I've mentioned before. That I like about Elseworld stories is you're playing with your own template.
Yeah.
You can do what you want to do as long as you don't like egregiously just destroy.
Yeah.
Like using Superman,
it's
you
like
can't just egregiously destroy. You just can't just make him absolutely the devil.
It's like going in and it's like, all right, we all agree here that this is not canon.
Right.
So let's see what if this happened.
Yeah.
But
which I like that kind of stuff.
But yeah. So I guess we're not gonna. I'd say overall this one turned out a lot better than the first one we recorded.
This one was a little more fluid and contained.
The energy was a lot better.
Yeah.
We kept it tighter because we were definitely rambling on at the end there. But I guess next week is Darth Vader.
Darth Vader episode. It'll be episode 16. It's going to be the final installment. Volume 4,
yeah.
Fortress Vader. And,
hopefully you've all read volumes 1 through 3 with us.
Or recapped from our videos.
Yeah. Then read volume 4 and we'll talk about that next week.
And get to finally finish up our first continuation story.
And I don't know what Davis is going to do because I don't know when there's going to be another Star Wars book.
Yeah, dude, it's not looking good.
Because we're already planned out to like the 2nd or 1st week of January.
I think all of January we've got planned out.
Maybe.
So we got a good list going.
But yeah. I guess
that wraps it up, right?
Yeah. General like, share, subscribe, whatever you're listening to. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, keep liking. Tell your friends. Tell your coworkers. Watch us, like us, subscribe, share, comment. Do all the fun algorithm shit of unsubscribe, resubscribe.
Yeah.
Do all that great, glorious stuff.
But I guess we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening or watching our podcast this week. Please either go watch our past videos or like, comment, subscribe. Please keep the interactions going, and we'll talk to y'all next week.